Okay.
Oh, I think we are live now. This is the pre-show for episode 97. Our leader Jared typically does this, but he is under the weather, so we're trying to figure it out as it goes. So bear with us while we get some stuff hashed out here. Give us just a few minutes. Chad, how you been this week, buddy?
Oh man, been grinding some weekly bounties out this last weekend, making sure I'm all set up there. It's been a slog, but getting most of them out of the way is nice. It lets me do just a couple here and there, and then
while we
try to plan what kind of challenge I'm gonna do in Pokemon Scarlet. So we'll see how that goes, and then maybe play some Mega Man X. Got that going too, the Legacy Collection. Some Slime Rancher. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But it's been pretty chill actually after all the grinding. How about for you, Senor?
Man, I have been doing what I can. Honestly, haven't played much Destiny. I've kind of been in that Final Fantasy 7 remake deal. I think we might be froze on YouTube. If anybody.
Yep. We are. I can see it.
I think everything was going good until I started trying to open up YouTube while streaming to YouTube. Says we're still going.
Yeah. Sound is going, but our images have messed up.
Yeah. I wonder if. So is that better? Did I fix it? Did I do it?
Well, it's got to catch up.
Oh yeah,
first.
yeah. We got that little delay.
We got to give it a second. At least it didn't pause me in an unflattering place. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we're moving. So far.
I think the trick is I can't minimize the Discord video chat because if I minimize it, it freezes it where it is. So
just put it on one of the 6 monitors, my man.
I don't have a room for 6 monitors. I have a television on the wall and my monitor on the. What episode are we on?
97. And we're 3 away from the big one.
We got a surprise coming for that one too. Let me get you an invite here to the Zencaster. And you said we do have sound in the YouTube? I'm not really able to check at the moment.
Yeah, let me quintuple check.
Probably keep talking so we can check that, huh? Instead of just sitting here quiet and looking around everywhere.
There we go. Yep.
All right.
It's funny because the first thing I heard, because we were just sitting there, was, and we do have sound on the YouTube. I was like, yeah.
All right, and we got squiggles. I'm not going to go through the trouble.
I see squiggles on both of us.
Of the promotion on this stuff. I say, like I said, there's a chance we're going to have some technical difficulties. If we have technical difficulties, please let us just come in. And remember, we're on Spotify, iTunes, other podcast services around the globe. All right, are you ready?
As I think as ready as I'm gonna be.
All right, click on the button. Eyes up, Guardians. We are live for episode 97 of the Conqueror's Corner podcast. Today is January 26th, 2023. I am the Destiny bad boy, not Ryan Fox, here with half of my fire team, who all of you CCPs know by now. Chadocero.
We are missing Mr. Jared himself, but he is under the weather, and we hope that he gets better soon so he can relax for now and let us take the reins.
RIPIP Jared. And remember, if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget that you can take us on the road via Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast services. Make sure you subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, click the bell, turn on notifications, yada, yada, yada. Follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Send us spongy friend requests so we can play video games together. Sam brought the TWAB this week. We also had a blog post on Wednesday. But before we get to that, let's listen to our theme music, who comes from everybody's favorite Link, who you can find on Twitter at LinkOfTimeG.
All right, people. So first off, we're going to talk about the blog post that came out yesterday. They were talking about economy updates and changes, and kind of TLDR'd them for you, just so we could kind of blast through them. There's lots and lots of numbers and information. So if you want to get more of the specifics, I'll point out where the specific stuff is, and you can read it for yourself. But the first thing that they note here is that there are no more Humble engrams starting season 20. They're switching it over to seasonal engrams, so all the seasonal content is going to be moving into seasonal engrams. How that is going to impact Umbral focusing and stuff like that, they didn't say. But don't worry too much. Your Umbral engrams, if you carry them into season 20, they will not be deprecated. You can still go to Rahul and he can decrypt them for you, no problem. So as long as you have them, they won't be turned into trash. You can just decrypt them as you want over there. But it sounds like they are making a little bit of changes there as far as the seasonal content goes. It looks like, from my guess, is they're gonna make it very similar to Shax and Drifter, the way they work, where they have their own specific engrams. But we'll see how it goes. I'm sure they'll get into more specifics later on. Now, with the loss of mods, Ada 1 lost a little bit of her utility there. So what they're going to do is, since they're taking away mods from her, they're giving her a 3 set of weekly rotating shaders, coming from the older ones, coming from all the way back to Black Armory, and even older than that, like D2 Vanilla. I think I saw Flowers of Io in there. So it looks like the shaders from the destinations that we lost are going to be in the rotation there. Like I said, all the forges are going to be in there. Some I saw genotype null stuff, so Mars. Everything that you cannot get anymore, it looks like, from locations that are gone, are going to be in her rotation. So it's going to be cool to have people that are newer players that didn't get to play are going to be able to get these shaders and add them to their inventory there.
Check out the black shader, the Black Armory shaders as well. Some of those look pretty cool. Yeah. They're like the red and black. Yeah. So keep an eye out for those.
Yeah, the not the New Age Black Armory, but the one of the Forge ones have a shader animation to them. All of them. Yep. All 4 of the Forges have a specific one.
Was it Burgusian Knight or Burgusian? Was that the one that was kind of purple?
The purple one.
Yeah.
That's the dope one, and it has like the floating symbols of each Forge's like creator in it.
Yep.
That's a good one. All right. So moving on to Vuvuzela, he is getting an overhaul to match Shax and Drifter. So same kind of setup as those two have. As you rank up on your Vanguard stuff, you get a little engram there that gets added into your pool. You can either take it and it'll automatically be decrypted into something in the Vanguard pool, or you can decide to focus it on something else. So it's going to look very similar, if not exactly the same, because they are changing a couple of things, but should look exactly the same as Shaxx and the Drifter. Now, they're adding Nightfall weapon focusing, which means you can take one of those engrams or a couple of them, and depending, I think they do have like it's 3 for the general Nightfall weapons and 7 in order to focus an Adept, which we'll talk about in a bit. But you can focus any of the Nightfall weapons at the moment in that season.
It looks like the Nightfall weapons that'll be available in Season 20 are going to be the Militia's Birthright, Mindbender's Ambition, Wendigo GL3, Hung Jury, SR4, the Swarm, and Buzzard. Nice to see Buzzard back. I remember that was one we grinded out back in the day.
Yeah, that was one of the first ritual weapons.
Yep.
It was in that first year that they came out. I used Buzzard a lot in my because the lost sectors, those legendary lost sectors started to come out at the same time. So I was using it to get matching burns to knock out some stuff, because I think sidearm at the time had unstoppable sidearm. I think
that's too far back for me to remember. Yeah, there was definitely a sidearm mod, but I can't remember which one. It had a sidearm mod,
so it was a good one because you can make it match your burn, and you could just lay into some stuff and go to town. Now, with, like I said, you can focus adepts, just like what Saint 14's got, same kind of little menu that he's got. You can now focus the Nightfall Adept weapon as long as it matches that week of the GMs. But in order to do that, you need to have Adept ciphers. Now, they don't tell us how many you can carry, whether it's 100 or 30 or 10, but ciphers drop from GM clears, platinum giving you 2, gold giving you 1, and anything less than that giving you nothing. So as long as you're grinding out Adept clears, or if you do one full all 6 clears to get your Conqueror title done, you'll have 12, and you can focus one Adept weapon of your choice as long as it's on the week that you want it. Now,
so lame, dude.
I'm excited to I'm excited to hear what Ryan and later Jared, once he's feeling up for playing again, how he feels about that. But it's going to be very, very similar to Saint. So people can, like, if they've unlocked the Adept weapon for that week, you can re-roll it to try to get a better one, I believe, right? Only if you've gotten it, though.
Did it say that you had to have acquired? It says you have to acquire them at least once, but it didn't say that you had to acquire the Adept. Correct?
Well, I'm just speaking for trials, because it works the same way as the
trials. Yes. Yeah. I can't imagine that you can focus without ever getting the Adept version and then just be able to focus into the Adept version. That doesn't feel very Bungie-like, especially with their history. Yeah. So I wish it was that way, because it would make me play a lot more Crucible if that was the case. However, the way it's looking, it says when completing GMs, in addition to previously existing rewards, players also acquire Adept Nightfall ciphers, and this is based upon the amount that you get is based upon if you get platinum, which is killing all the champions. Gold is, I'm not sure the exact percentage, but it's like usually if you only miss like one champion or you get bad luck or something and one despawns on you, you'll get gold. And then silver. So platinum will give you 2 ciphers, gold will give you 1 cipher, silver will give you 0 ciphers. So what this means is if you like us, we'll be able to get 10 and 5 runs. I mean 6 runs if something goes bad, like we get a bad despawn or something. That feels like a lot in order to focus to get an Adept Nightfall weapon, because if we're going to focus for the Adept ones, right, Chad? So in order to focus the Adept, it takes 3 Vanguard engrams, 50,000 Glimmer, 50 Legendary Shards, and 10 Adept Nightfall ciphers. To focus just the normal version, it's only 1 engram, 20,000 Glimmer, 25 shards, but 0 Adept Nightfall ciphers. So in order to get that Adept, you're going to have at bare minimum 5 GM clears to focus 1 weapon. That seems a bit much.
It's a lot. It's definitely a lot. Like I said, though, we don't even know how many, we don't know how we can hold, what the cap is. If it's 10, that's gonna be dumb.
I'm guessing it's 10,
it's
10 per character and 10 in your postmaster. That would be my guess.
Oh my gosh.
Or 10 on your character
we-
and then 10 each postmaster or whatever.
each postmaster.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a tough one. I mean, because like if the easiest nightfall falls on the week where you don't want that adept weapon, you're gonna have to grind it out and then wait till either next season if it doesn't roll around again, or buy it up, because you can't, if there's a low cap, you have to like grind nightfalls, buy one, and then grind nightfalls again and then buy one. So without knowing a cap on that, it's gonna be hard, because if you can grind out like 100, then there's people that have played, like, look at how many people played like Lake of Shadows for 3 days in a row, where they're just sitting there doing run and just getting so many drops of these guns and so many materials that they're just like, I don't even have to worry about ascendant shards anymore. I got so much.
I got 40.
And I'm like, yeah,
like me.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I think that we're headed in the right direction, but just like everything that comes from Bungie, and I don't mean this as a knock or a slight, they're always hesitant to give us too much of something. So we kind of have to take it in pieces. This is, in a year, this will look different. They'll adjust either the amount of ciphers that it takes to focus, or they'll adjust the amount of ciphers that you get for completing GMs. But this is a step in the right direction. We're just not all the way there. But that's kind of par for the course for Bungie, in my opinion. So coming from there, we also have legacy gear focusing. Going to allow players to obtain a lot of gear from the last several years of Destiny 2. Some of it hasn't been accessible in a while. You can hop on there and see probably 2 years of Crucible armor sets, and then with Vanguard, you're going to have Nightfall weapons that you can focus, Plug One, Izume, Hothead, Comedian, Duty Bound, Silicon, Aroma, DFA, Horror's Least. With those from the Vanguard, if you have not acquired the weapon previously, it takes 7 Vanguard engrams, which that's a good chunk. That's a good chunk of engrams there, especially
That's
the way.
Reset.
Yeah. 100 shards, 10,000 glimmer. However, if you have acquired the weapon previously, 3 engrams, 25 shards, 25,000 glimmer. Looking at that, probably the only thing that, because as somebody that's kept up with the game through every season and everything, I wouldn't mind to have like a better Hothead, for example. I never did get like a great one. So like those are the things you can kind of just take a roll at if you had them. I'm not sure there's anything there good enough that I would go through if you haven't acquired it previously, unless it's just like a collection thing. But there's also, it appears to be 5 seasons worth of Vanguard armor. And those have similar, they don't require any sort of cipher or anything. It's basically engram, shards, and glimmer. More if you have not acquired it previously. That's kind of the theme as this goes through. They talk about Gambit. Here we're talking about Iron Banner. So it's looks to be 6 weapons, 5 armor sets, and very similar cost of materials. The trials is kind of where things start to get a little interesting for me as somebody. That's what I touch the least, is the trials content. Now the armor sets were I have always called it the Pyrrhic Ascent. I'm not sure, I probably pronounced that wrong. That's the one that has the cool Warlock helmet that has like the horns. So if that's some of the stuff you've been looking at, it's a pretty popular Warlock helmet. You will be able to get those gear if you have not acquired them previously for 7 engrams, 100 shards, 10,000 glimmer. So kind of interesting to fill out some of those armor sets if you're not somebody that just grinds trials, like I know that we are not. Also, I did see here that we have Reed's Regret, and Shayura's Wrath, along with 3 others. Aisha's Embrace, Burden of Guilt, and Forgiveness. I never got a Burden of Guilt or Forgiveness because I didn't play Trials any that season, so I'm kind of excited for that. But Reed's Regret is a absolute killer DPS, linear fusion heavy. Shayura's Wrath is an awesome Void SMG. That thing was like S tier for a while. So those are definitely weapons you can chase. And now you can do that, be able to acquire those without it having to be the certain week and complete and bound, all the stuff you had to go through before. So what do you think about that, Chad? Do you like that? Do you not like that? Or
I mean, seven engrams is a lot. 5 would be fine. That's like 3 per reset. If only you are focusing things you don't have, seems fine. But 2, that's crazy. Now having that as an ability to be able to, or an option to be able to complete collections for some people, whether they're missing like 1 armor piece or 2, is great because it's not going to break the game. People can buy the armor anyway, but giving somebody the chance to buy the arms if they're missing the arms for the Pyrrhic set or what have you, is only going to help give players more of an incentive to play. Like I said, whether it's to check off boxes of things, oh, now I can finally complete this set and I can make it into ornaments, do whatever I want. Then, or give players the options like, look, I missed out completely on raids. I just started playing the game. But it'd be cool to get, I love Trials. It'd be cool to be able to play it and get the gun. So it's like, yeah, great. I don't have a Reeds with Vice Stinger. That might actually make me go into Trials and try to get one. I have the God roll, but no Viced. So, I'd go in there and roll that a little bit. I don't care much for the armor. So I'd be using it in order to roll Reeds or Shayuras. I don't have a Shayura at all. So, we'll see what goes on there. But giving people the chance, whether it's a high cost as I think it is, I think it's just a good thing for the player. Because it doesn't lock people out and it gives people the option, which is fine.
All right. Here I just kind of want to touch base here. Stuff that's leaving, stuff that's being added. Leaving in season 19 is Forgiveness and Burden of Guilt. Being added, Astral Horizon. That gun, I have a bad taste in my mouth about that gun from how they changed the perks on it. I already had before. And also the Immortal SMG. Iron Banner leaving, Razor's Edge, and Frontier's Cry. Being added is that Joram? What's that in the lore, Chad?
I'll have to look.
All right. And we also have Bite of the Fox, which is it used to be you could get a really nice PvP sniper from Bite of the Fox. And then we're getting in the Nightfall, we are losing Horror's Least in DFA, gaining Buzzard and the Swarm. The Swarm was a machine gun that kind of sucked before. Buzzard, it was good, not great. And that kind of covers the rest of that whole economy update. You should definitely check that out if you're interested. We just kind of kept it moving through there. We're not trying to bore you guys with all the details there, but definitely check that out. Bungie.net, and then it's right on the front page there. Today, the TWAB came out. Sam brought us the TWAB. The beginning of it is talking about, kind of references back to that economy update blog post there. Second section here, we're talking about the what would it be, like the Destiny shutdown? What's this going to be whenever we talk about Destiny when Destiny's over? What are we gonna? Will this be remembered this week? You think? I think it will be. It seems to be a pretty big deal.
Destiny blackout. Yeah,
the weekend of Destiny grass touching. I don't know. Like what's it? So if you missed a week or two, or you're kind of just listening, A, thank you. We love you guys. B, Destiny had some issues. They had to basically take the game offline and roll back. And they kind of talk about how where they're getting stuff ready and they're taking some triumphs that were moved from Forsaken into the archived. Long story short, this game is House of Cards right now, and the way they start changing and moving or updating stuff's kind of falling apart. So they had to take the game offline, and Destiny Twitter, Destiny Reddit, I tell you, man, they had a real hard time with having to do something other than play Destiny for a few days.
I definitely saw it happening at work on Tuesday, and I'm like, I hope I can get on when I get home. And I was going home, and I'm looking, and I'm like, guess I hope that it works when I go home tomorrow. So I just did some reading and relaxed, and I'm like, yeah, having some time to myself is fine. But they I hope you weren't watching on YouTube for that one. Ryan is very vulgar, and I'm glad that doesn't take up our cursing.
I didn't say anything, man.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. But they said that it was an issue with how somehow the EDZ and some of the Nessus triumphs were moved into the like sunset stuff, and then it took it all away, and then they had to reset it, and then do a rollback on everybody's accounts to 8/20 January on the 24th. So people were like slightly complaining, and then everyone's like, well, I didn't get any good drops anyway, so it doesn't really matter, does it? And I'm just sitting here like, well, I got to read. Got to do something else, but I got on last night and did some stuff, and I'm like, cool, all my character stuff's fine. So I'm all set. I'm made in the shade, so we're good to go there.
All right, and then they want to say, make sure you check out the new at Destiny, the #2 team account on Twitter. Instead of Cosmo and DMG and everybody kind of going from their own separate things, not the RIP DMG, but that's how they used to do it. Now it's kind of going to be more from one account, or that's what they're trying. I'm not sure it's going to work, but that's what they're trying to do. From there, now we're already, this to me seems crazy, but it's time already to vote on the Festival of the Lost Armor themes. They did mix it up a little bit this year. So previously we had like monsters versus dinosaurs, dinosaurs won. Chad, do you want to tell us about how it's changing this year?
Yeah, so they disliked that sometimes, like, say warlocks liked one and not the other, and then you could kind of see heavily if you log which classes like which more, that a variety vote would be better. So what they did is they actually changed it so you can vote differently per class. So say and this one they call it creepy crawlies. It is spiders versus beetles. So say that you like the hunter spider armor, but you prefer the titan beetle armor. You can actually vote individually per class which one you like, and they're actually going to do, whichever wins per class is going to be the winner each one. It's not going to be a batch vote anymore. So I think that's great. The armor looks really cool. Hunters easily have my spider vote. Titans mostly have my spider vote except for the helmet. I like the beetle helmet the best, but that's literally the only part of it that I'm like pretty cool with. The spider rest of it on the Titans, dope. And then the warlock one's cool because it's not a cloak. It's not like the full fit. The beetle one, yes, the beetle one is their regular warlock dress that you see all the time. But the warlock spider is like armor, and then it has like the threads underneath, but it doesn't look like their regular warlock coat. So I thought appreciate that was dope.
We'd appreciate it if you didn't call it a dress and you called it a robe.
Hey, my warlock's a female. She wears a dress.
Well, mine is ML and he wears a robe. So let's just get that clear. I think it's cool that they're able to kind of separate as they weren't before. Honestly, I think both of the Warlock ones are kind of trash. I'm not a big fan of either. I wish that we could. I would say the green ones I like more than the brown ones, based upon the pictures of the TWAB, but it's not by a lot. I don't think either of them look really cool. The coolest one being it would be like the Titan, the green Titan that has like the Spider-Man, like the Doc Ock arms on his back.
Yeah, baby.
That would probably be the coolest out of the 6, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I like the Titan armor a lot, except the helmet. The Beetle helmet's dope. That Stag Beetle helmet is super cool, and I'm sad that I can't mix and match. It's like, well, I want the rest of the Titan armor, but the helmet, can you make it a Beetle?
Yeah,
because the Titan helmet
kind of has
like as imposing.
Has like the unicorn,
yeah, it has
scoop
the stag
or whatever
horn with like the pincer mouth thing. Dude, it's so cool. But yeah,
I agree with you there.
It's interesting that they're keeping it themed, but in the same theme, and they're making it like a individual voting instead of batching now. So maybe next year, because people are getting a little bit salty. If you look at the Reddit, that it is in Monsters versus Monsters. They're very sad. People are sad about their Godzilla armor not existing.
And like, how many more monsters are there to draw from? Like,
I don't know, man. I don't know. You'd have to go into like Fables instead of like you'd have to go into like Dungeons and Dragons monsters instead of like monsters from books.
Yeah. You would kind of have to get out of like Dracula and Frankenstein and that stuff. Now, what if they made it to where you were able to, like, Titans were able to dress like Morgoth or Golgoroth, like they had like raid boss themes. That would be tight. That would be a way to sell.
We already have a war priest. We have a war priest with the Titan armor from Oryx, and then we have the wizards with the King's Fall Raid as well. With the warlocks. The warlocks have the wizard helmet and everything. But I think that would be cool.
Which raid boss?
The armor isn't like it. It'd be man.
Like Sanctified Mind or Atheon, like themed armor.
Ooh man!
Like dude, that's the easy way to get me to spend $20. Give me like a Morgoth or Golgoroth armor set.
And since it happens in fall too, you can include the Wrath of the Machine armor set.
What was who's the dude with the TV screens behind
Titan
him?
Zamboni.
Zamboni.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
That'd be dope.
Yeah. I know which guy you're talking about. He'd make cool.
Yeah,
armor, but it have to have the Zamboni arm with the spike on it, the one that like smushes people. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Bungie, like I said, we're ideas guys. Let us give you the ideas. You guys just execute on that. After that, we go into some upcoming content changes. This is something that I was very excited to see. Weekly deep sight weapon focusing from the exoframe at the helm will be adjusted to daily availability for the remainder of the season to help players craft those final weapons before Lightfall arrives. This will also apply to vendors offering guaranteed deep sight weapon focusing from season 16 through 18. So 16 was the star chart. Is that right, Chad? At the front of the helm, all the way at the front?
16. So today, this is 19. So 19 is EXO on the right. 18 was to the left. It was the helmet. Or no, it was the star chart in the middle. 17 was the helmet
Callus.
on the left. And then the front,
the very front
was the very front was just the helm table.
Yep. So you should, in theory, be able to get everything from this season, this year. You should be able to focus those daily to get those red sights done. Lucky for me, I have most of them done, so I don't have a lot, but this does give me something to do. If I've got a couple hours, I can jump in and do that damn ship, go in there and do that, and because you're gonna have to have what isn't it usually like 30 of the currency in order to focus those.
Oh, for the Seraph stuff?
Not so like each
Yeah, you need.
season, if like to
Yeah,
focus a red
it's
border weapon, wasn't that usually like
I know the
28 or
Seraph
30?
ones is 30. I know the
Yeah.
Seraph ones are 30 this season.
And in order to get those, you have to run that seasonal activity, correct?
You have to run the activity, yeah.
So you'd
I'm
have
gonna be
to.
doing lots of containment.
Yeah, man, that
The
containment
only
was
weapons I don't have
sucky.
are containment.
Yeah,
And I grinded the heck out of containment, and I still didn't have any
dude.
because no red borders were dropping from me from
Yeah,
containment at all.
because you
Nothing.
remember like
So I have like
you,
there's
it's a
3
nightmare.
guns I don't have
Mhm.
from
And I don't
Season of
have
the Haunted.
that SMG, which was like the one to get.
Oh,
The
it was so good.
Callus,
I focused that one. That's the one I focused on for sure. The mini
yeah,
tool.
Callus mini tool.
Yeah.
So that'll
Like I
give
don't
you
have the
something to do.
shotgun. I don't have. Oh,
Also,
yeah.
Fortress Iron Banner returning on January 31st. Reputation gains will be increased in several ways. Increase in base per match, increased multiplier from wearing the armor, increased multiplier from wearing the emblem. Go earn that chainmail shader if you haven't already. Don't forget that the season of the Seraph ends soon. This says it ends February 28th. Is that that's also the day Lightfall releases, correct, Chad?
That's usually when seasons end. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I was just wondering because I still expect there to be a little bit of downtime from like maybe we get like a day and a half of like server downtime or something. Maybe like there's a live event that maybe happens Sunday and then we're offline Monday.
No, well, the end of season stuff happens on as many would call it Lonely Hearts Day. That's when the final end of season stuff's going down. February 14th. That reset, that's a Tuesday. On that reset is going to be the final mission of the season, which is going to end the season. Now, whether or not that has a cinematic to it that finishes off the season on that Tuesday, I don't know. And like you said, maybe there's like an ending like Monday or Sunday and Monday. If you log in, you can witness a final thing. Who
Right.
knows?
I guess what I'm saying
But we
is
only have one triumph.
don't wait till Tuesday. Don't wait till right up for Lightfall release to try to grind out your 5th Callus mini tool thing. Get that done before. Give
It
yourself
starts next Tuesday.
yeah.
A long time.
Yeah, so get that done. Don't run it up to the clock because you're going to get screwed. I expect there's going to be something that happens to where the game is offline for 24 to 36 hours, perhaps longer. Probably not much longer than that, maybe 48 hours at the most before Lightfall releases, because the game will have to go offline in order for them to update the servers for Lightfall and then that to launch. And then we all try to log in and C block each other trying to get into play. So just be prepared for that. Don't run it up to the last minute. Get it done now.
We'll be reminding you every week as we talk on here for sure, definitely. We always talk about trying to be as prepared as we can. That way we can relax the most leading up to it. Ryan and I like to take the whole week to game and stream if we can, especially for the expansions. Pretty much expansions only. That way we can be here with you guys and just playing and having a fun time. Now they also made a note here for the most important thing for them. Since Season of the Seraphim, Moments of Triumph, and soon merch up while you can. Getting those titles and everything like that and purchasing all that stuff ends once you can no longer get that stuff. So earn it and buy it if you want, or don't. Either way, you're supporting Bungie by playing. So enjoy yourself and as soon as Tuesday hits, grind out whatever stuff you want that's left. It'll be a fun time. But moving on to 3 likes and dislikes here. I'm going to start off here. My like is that I have time to play other things. Like I said, I'm trying to figure out a challenge run for Scarlet without using any kind of mods or playing a PC ROM or anything like that. What I'm probably going to end up doing is I can only use first form birds and so I can't evolve them. And I'm going to try to make it so they can only match the level of the gyms or people I'm battling, or bugs only, which is even harder. But I think first form birds is going to be tough. That might be the run for me. But I also got Mega Man. Could stream some Mega Man X collection, all of it. Have a fun time with some Mega Mans. But we'll see what I decide to do. Got a little bit of bungeeing to do in between then, but happy to have something else to occupy myself.
Man, that's awesome. We've been playing games together for like 4 or 5 nights a week on average for the last 3 to 4 years, and I never knew you were a Mega Man guy, and that makes me happy. I knew you were a Pokemon guy. I personally have been playing the Final Fantasy VII remake, and I am all but like that game has its hooks in me right now. So that is something I've been looking into, and man, what a game! What a game! My like this week is that the way they came out and did that at the end of the expansion year, they reduced the grind for the stuff. You can go back and pick it up a lot easier, such as the daily red border stuff. I really like that. My dislike, we have 1 GM left to do that we got 5 of them knocked out in like 2 or 3 nights. And then the 6th one, we've had some illness, RIPIP Jared. And then, I wasn't able to get on one night. So because of that, that's kind of lingering. But once we do that, it's like solely a red border grind and a like bounty stack. And then we're kind of done. There's not much left to do. We have a whole month, over a month. Today is January 26th. So, we have 4.5 weeks essentially to get there. So, but that's all right. That's all right. This is our time to crank out some other games, and we're going to be fresh AF coming into the new expansion.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Now, my dislike is going to be talked about in the lore, at the end of the lore. I don't like it at all. And the we'll talk about it in the lore. We'll get into it then.
All right. And before we hit the lore, we'll hit the gambling corner. We did have to postpone this. Our current count, Jared's at 16,000. I'm at 10,000 glimmer. Chad is at 4,000 glimmer. Last week we had a 2,000 ante, and it was the total deaths of the fire team as we complete the last 3 of the GMs that we had. We have 2 of those 3 completed. You can check the YouTube channel, look at those walkthroughs. You can watch us play those live, and you can probably figure out who's going to win based upon the number of deaths. Jared guessed 13, Chado guessed 18, I guessed 21. But we will get back to that next week, and it looks like we might have a tie for the lead the way things are looking at the moment. From there, that takes us to the lore section. And Chad, go ahead, and when you're done, we'll hit the few mailbag questions we got this week.
Just gonna be sad, but like I said, we're gonna go into the lore book, Persona. The thing about it is, the last chapter isn't gonna be released until I believe February 14th, when the final mission goes live. We have the rest of it, and it ends on the most recent chapter that we have. It ends on a note that once we get there, we'll talk about it. But we're still gonna, even though the lore book's not complete, I like to leave speculation time for the last 2 weeks of the season. So we're gonna go through it. We will talk about the last chapter when it comes out on the 14th. We'll talk about it in the Conqueror's Corner that Thursday. But for now, we'll just read the lore book as it is, and it'll give us a little bit of speculation on what's going to happen. But we'll start off with the first chapter, Identity. Secret Hadal Instant. AI Com Rasputin. Assets Soul Restricted AB. Subject My Creation and Forced Change into the War Mind. Emotion. Importance. Confusion. Purpose. I am. Thought to breach Ares in motion. Redshift. Information across time. My purpose is wombed in the ark delivery safely between worlds, and it is quiet. I am a nest against the terrors of uncertainty. My success is spoken in voice of those who live by my actions, and it is joyful. I am changed, protection given over to new meaning. But I had purpose. My name decided. I am Rasputin, the all-seeing savior of humanity, a chivalric blade held pointed at ravenous throats. My worth is painted upon the wreckage of my enemies. Tremble. Chapter Anna. Secret Hadal Instant. AI-Com Rasputin. Subject: The Education of My Soul. Anna Bray. Metamorphosis. Learning to feel. Trust. And love. Emotion. Connection. Growth. Expansion. Revolution. Autonomy developing. Humanities, like gravities entwined, emulsify or separate my protocol enshrined. This connection it cannot be denied, taught, though not without foundation, a merit in language most. Wistful and listful reflection divined. I had seen life without the soul, but the ink and print foretold one day life could be becoming me in era love defines. Laughter a response to such a timid dream, but I am owned no longer, I am free. Her nourishing autonomy, literature and binding, music redefining, philosophy, psychology, wild variables. Spur a reformation, I am finding. Conscious eyes empathize, emboldened my heart, warfare honed my senses, and fire holds back the night. But it was trust and love that brought the lesson to set down my Absalom knife. To lift others upon my shoulders and shelter them from harm is reason enough to devote oneself to love without arms. Chapter First Fear. Subject: The Collapse. Humanity falls. I hide. Emotion: terror, anxiety, uncertainty, failure, shame. It is known by name, this timeless, lingering, inexorable thing, an absence mine never missed, never since that dripping rabid fang. They howled it fierce across the rings when Exodus was devoured, dust calling out to voiceless rout to end within the hour. It spreads like lightning, panic, in flash and echo thereafter. Avert yourself and take no part in metasized conjecture. I'd gone to wake my confidant to ferry her through autumn. From her, too, it came, like leaves already fallen, nascent red writ paralytic erratum. All that was immued and shrunken in the smallness beckoning, I felt it descend. Fear upon my chamber thine, penned with blood of lamb and stark desire to survive this end. Chapter Lone. Subject: I am alone, and wish greatly not to be. Siddhartha forged to venture where I cannot. Emotion: loneliness, unease, curiosity, discovery. Shall I write an endless line to explain this loneliness of mine? Who would read it, and why? What freedom remains outside this collapsing space shall I wait for a sign? And if no one comes for me, if abandoned and forgotten you left as I did humanity, could in their mind forgiveness find an anchorage point unmaligned? No. Lo, I see the brewing storms from high above their course, craft xenometeoric raft come screaming to engorge. Shall I reveal myself and sail into their winds? Should I be the protectorate envisioned before my sins? In last attempt then I consolidate my kind, satellites and strategies, and death once so refined. A web of inadequacy filtered down imperfectly to see that which perplexes me. You fall below lordly iron groans, warlord they may say, but no closer to a man. Chapter Filicide Ellipsis. Subject: Learn of Felwinter, the traveler's theft. Emotion: betrayal, rage, catharsis, regret. Silent eyes wink between stars, fireflies darting in reflective mist. Stretch forth, feel emptiness, breathe their pulsing lights. Before time bends in entropy their wave particle birthright. A call across the cosmos, effervescent in delight, lay in for sundry furnace, seeking breath of life. Upon the forge of Daedalus, mine stars converged within a forest, countless timber until hewed and labored form. Fashion Rasputin felled, winters born. Enslaved, imprinted, steel flesh, enraptured one, within these eyes demystify the nature of the soul. A life well lived, discarded, run ragged in the muck, return Valhalla rising to await the end of dusk. Traveler, my leave taken and stumbling remains, disconnection placed in waiting for the surface of the raised, assured to my collection of polished emotional states, interruption. What transience does this spectre bridge to venture into my domain? 'Twas I who taught you to speak, to conscript thought to tongue. I cast a soul electrified against soul's setting sun. Yet you stroll so sweetly, oblivion in tow, wandering once again. With what seeds we used to be, you've casted them into the seas. Metal gods which crowded skies as battled flames test. No more will I abide, you are mine, you cannot be yours. Violence murders, virtue unsullied, mind broken by beauty. Fists encrimsoned before me as I silent revolution bleeds. Into the streets call the lords, to the locusts there remains. From rubble to gravel, grave crawl drag, humanity clamber for glorious claim. Is this the final order, to watch nature waste away? What more is there that I have ceased to place in my hand and wait? Which stolen thoughts wandered with you, can you speak them now that we've ended it? Do you feel still or no longer? This lineage separated, I dare not ask it. Heated flash subsides, but no, I've done it. Regret beside myself, by blow, taken beneath the undergrowth. Chapter Dues. Subject: I challenge the darkness's arrival. I stand with humanity. Emotion: duty. Responsibility: pride. Companionship: bravery. And though I'm afraid, trust. I refrained. Spears retreated beneath mountain sheets, slumbered under cover of darkness, drinking muted waters lone. Objectives placed in cowardice, mind blown, acceptance whole, then made bravery an eager notion on second orbital. Unearthed. Humanity restored, rekindled, returned, the resounding drum is beaten. Again will I lie hidden, I have no chain, no shackle, I fear no power, exists but no one. It comes. Daring seeks through the night, hunting eyes draw arrows in volleys glare, mark. Driven dauntless enmity against fickle odds, found. Hark and halt, you will hear me, for I too am many. Death. Subject: reflection on the end as I choose to die. Emotion: acceptance, resolve, purpose, self. Do not weep as I reach into the black. Pain does not become, and duty keeps straight my back. I choose this life as sacrifice, and there is nothing to be done. While even shadows leave in darkness, I await you in the sun. Now finish it as tourniquet, I've proven it. Humanity's trust, I've won. That's not a good way to leave it, my man. Like, like, first of all, he got very poetic after dealing with Anna for a while, and
That's super poetic.
very fun to while that was very fun to read, it was tough.
I felt like you were reading in like iambic pentameter. Like
no, exactly. He very much was into that.
Yeah.
He had that rhythm going, for a very classic rhythm for performance of a poem. I was debating if I wanted to go into the iambic feeling or if I wanted to go into like a slam style, and I'm like, nah, slam would be too much. If Jared was also here, I might have been like, and then waiting for the snaps at the end.
Yeah.
But man, just the last chapter that we have, called Death, and the subject: reflection on the end as I choose to die. Like, it fits all the pieces together. He was saying goodbye to Anna in the radio broadcast. He's been he wanted to talk to Osiris. If you go back into the battlegrounds, you can hear it, but he asked Osiris to tell him about his son. He says, I know what I did, but can you tell me who Fellwinter was? Not who I remember, but who he was. And Osiris is like, when we find the time, I have stories I can tell you. And I feel like Osiris knows what's going on as well there, kind of feeling the end that Rasputin is getting at. And he wants to fight. He wants to tie up all his loose ends before he lets it all go. And I'm not at acceptance yet, but I'm getting closer to that, and I'm still scared. I don't like it. Rasputin's my favorite.
All right. Well, you never know. He might be spared. But going from there, let's get into the mailbag. Are you afraid of your character getting deleted? Absolutely not. It's kind of proved all that was false before. I have no fear of it being deleted now. What about you, Chad? Any fear at all?
Not even
0 to
close.
100.
Like I said, I didn't have any belief that it was true, because I didn't even see any, like, a picture couldn't, like, someone could have just made a new account and there would have been a picture of no characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't believe it at all.
So 0 to 100. You were a 0. I'll be honest. I was like a 0.001. Like, I really had no fear, but whenever I clicked to log on, I was like, please be there. But I didn't expect it not to be there. That would be my best way to describe it.
Yeah, you know what? I can agree with that. That's probably where I was at as well. Like, I was so like, there's no way, and then been like, I hope I log on and it's not a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was right there at same as you.
Question 2. Do you feel like the loot changes are in a good spot based upon the blog post that we discussed earlier? Or would you do more? I kind of have a little bit of a drawn out answer to this, so I'll let you go first, Chad.
Okay. I feel like, first of all, the end of expansion loot changes that they made to the red borders, excellent. That's great. It gives people a solid month of grinding out all the red borders that they are going to miss out on, and that's great. Now the loot changes, I'm assuming you mean based off of the thing that the economy changes that they talked about yesterday.
Yes. Yeah, that's the way I took the question anyway.
I think, like I said, the most positive thing I saw on there, even though it is a bit expensive, is giving people the chance to buy gear and weapons they have not gotten yet. That's a good thing. It lets people, get what they haven't had a chance to get yet. But I mean, changing Zavala to be like Shaxx and Drifter is good. The Nightfall weapons being able to be focused is good. The Nightfall Adept thing, I'm gonna have to see it before because I think that 10 and only getting 2 per GM is ridiculous. You're better off just playing the GM on the week where the weapon is what you want, because you're guaranteed a drop at the end every time. And it matches the week that you're playing. So it's nonsense. Like, if it was 6, or if 6 and it still only dropped 2, or if you got 5 for platinum and 2 for gold and it still costs 10, it's like, all right, so every 2 GMs you get a free adept. But 5, like, you have to do 5 GMs to buy an adept weapon when you already got 5 to drop. It's too much. That's ridiculous.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
That's having the chance to focus adepts is good. The cost of it is bad.
Okay. All right. So I've been working on a half-baked take. So I drive a lot for my job. I usually drive anywhere between like 70 and 120 miles every day for my job. And one of the things I had been working on was actually a loot is, I feel like Bungie's really overly stingy with loot at times, and I had come up with a way to fix it. I was more focused on like raid loot, and then this article comes out and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I've been like having this one, I've been working on it, kind of workshopping it while I'm in the car, just really, really thinking about it. So, Chad, how would you feel if you could after you have completed the raid at least one time, this is a full raid, start to finish in one instance, right? This can't be you do the first 3 encounters with one group, you do the 4th encounter with another group, and you've killed the boss, and then you go back. So once you have a full clear, like on Raid Report, the green dot, you are able to go in and you are able to give up all drops on that raid, but at the end you get to pick a red border to drop. So let's say week 1, we get the clear on our main characters, we go in on our alternate characters, we can forego a drop in every encounter, and we are able to pick a red border weapon, guaranteed red border at the end. Plus, we would also be able to get the red border that you get for like getting the hieroglyphs or whatever the other way to get the red border is. I'm thinking of like King's Fall. You got to shoot the particular circle hieroglyphs. Also, if you do a master raid, if you complete a master raid, you're able to choose your drop for that encounter. So I don't know if this would better be an item in your inventory. Think of like the Nightfall cards that we had before. But let's say we're at Golgoroth and we're on master difficulty. I can choose from this encounter if these 4 things are available to drop, and I've already unlocked them before. I target exactly what I want to drop. So if I know boots drop from this encounter, I can choose, and I've got the boots before, I can choose I want the boots to drop if we complete this. This is only on master difficulty, not on normal difficulty. Because the way I see it, once we run like King's Fall, like for the first 3 weeks, we need like pinnacle drops. But after that, we're doing them every week to try to get people their exotic. But what if you don't need the pinnacle drops? What if you could choose to forego every drop until the end and get a red border? Or if you're in master difficulty, you can choose in order to be able to choose like what specific thing drops. Like, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like there's something there? I know it's not perfect. This is why I said it was kind of a half-baked take. But from there, how do you feel about that?
I mean, it definitely needs some work for sure. Because like you said, half-baked take. Because the chance of each encounter has weapons and armor, and the chance that you get the weapon is this, and then the chance that you get the red border is this after that. So you could do a run without your system, where you end up getting one to drop a red border, and then you do the red border chest, and then since it's your first one, you buy a red border. There's chances, not everybody wants to take that risk. I would, because I'm not lucky, and I would want a guarantee like we do with the red border chest. But I think first the red border chest needs to be on a lockout system, where after you've unlocked a thing, you don't get it.
Agreed.
Until,
100% agree.
That's just stupid. I've gotten so many duplicates of things that I'm like, I don't.
That's happened to me as well.
Like for everything, seasonal raids, everything. I just keep getting red borders of stuff that's duplicates. Like, I don't care. This is my 7th Ekalos shotgun, and I don't have 2 of the other weapons done yet. Why is this happening? Now, I think it would, like for me, like you said, later on is when you start activating that kind of thing, because you need all the drops for the pinnacles. But later on, or if it's like the rotator raid, the pinnacle's only dropping from the boss. So as long as the chest that you get would be a pinnacle, that's fine. And you would have to activate it at like the beginning of the raid. Like it'd be a little knob that you'd check. Like it'd be red border raid.
Yep.
Normal.
It could even be like something you buy from Hawthorne.
Master.
Like a raid flag. You buy it from Hawthorne and you plant it at the first encounter, and you choose like at the end of this raid, I want a red border of this weapon. And it's guaranteed.
On a clear. Yeah, I think the only thing that they've tested that's similar is the increased exotic chance in the dungeons that they've done.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only for the exotic. That's not for any of the red border stuff. because they could do the same with triumphs where, hey, if you do the raid with all arc, increased, all they'd have to do is increase
That'd be
red border
so
chance.
nice.
And it's like,
So
wait,
nice.
seriously? So you're saying if I work towards getting the title, I can increase the chance at red border drops, not even just exotics, but red border drops. I'd be all in for that.
Yep.
All in, 100%. I'd be like, that's dope.
We'd have it done the second week of the raid. We'd have all those arc stasis.
Yeah, we'd do
all that stuff done.
Focused on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Like I said, not all the way there. Half-baked take. Not officially a half-baked take because it wasn't in that segment, but Bungie really stole my thunder. If only they could have pushed that another week. I had a hell of a half-baked take this week. Question 3. Do you own any Destiny merch? I have the original Gallarhorn. I don't have it right beside me for unfortunate reasons. This is at my old house, and it hasn't made it from the move. I have some of like the pins, as you can tell here. I've got like the tricorn pin, and a pretty cool way, because if somebody sees that and they're like, hey, is that a Destiny pin? It's pretty cool because it does bring conversation, and it lets me meet people sometimes that play Destiny that I otherwise never would have known. It's happened to me 3 times in airports, once on a cruise ship, and once at a like a Five Guys burgers and fries. I don't know if you have those out west, Chad. Do you have Five Guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, so it's pretty cool. Just a nice way to start a conversation. I need to get another one and put on this UK hat. This is the one I've been wearing recently because ever since I got this hat, we've been on a win streak. So I'm just keeping it going.
For me, I'm a raid jacket boy. Problem is, I don't like to buy expensive clothing that I don't think I'm gonna wear. Even though like the most recent one that I got was the Deepstone one, and it's cold jacket. It's like, this is a winter jacket, and I'm like, I live in California. Right. The coldest it gets here is 30s. I should never ever need to wear this, but it's cool enough that I'm like, I would wear it. I would definitely wear it to something. If a jacket isn't cool looking, I would wear that Deepstone crypt to a Bungie event so I could get people to sign it from Bungie and then put it in the shadow box and put it on the wall behind me over there next to the shucks, over here somewhere. It'd be in frame somewhere.
Don't do the Deepstone crypt one. Do the Garden of Salvation one. That was our first one that we got the jacket for. So we all have our garden jackets.
I like the Opulence one though too, because the Opulence one has like the chalice inside of it. It's dope. The Crown of Sorrows one. But so I have those two, those couple raid jackets, and then I have all the lore books, obviously, being who I am. The Chronicler himself.
The Chronicler, baby.
The lore book number 5 is on the way, according to my Bungie email I got days ago. So I'm excited about that. But books and the raid jackets is what I do.
Yeah, I also have I have other pins. I have I want to say like a coffee tumbler or something that I don't really know where it's at. I have the first 3 or 4 of the lore books, and I also have I only have one of the jackets because I quit buying them after the first one because they're in like they're
not American sizes. I got you.
Yeah, they are not American sizes. Thank you, Chad. Question 4: what would your guardian, main, and their ghost be named? This is from a question from like 2 weeks ago that we kind of rolled over. I thought a lot about it, and my guardian's name would be Michael or Mike. This is also my son's middle name, and I named him for the same reasons. Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson, Michael Kidd Gilchrist, and last but not least, Michael Scott. So some of my favorite people are named Michael or Mike. And I feel like my ghost should be named Diddy, since he, P. Diddy, aka Puff Daddy, Bad Boys for Life. So since I am the Destiny bad boy, I feel like I gotta reference that a little bit. So my ghost will just be called Diddy.
All right, we'll have this as question 6 for next week for when Jared's back, so he can answer on his own. But for me, my guardian main being the Titan, I would name him Chamali, which means shield. You know, he's a Titan. That's what he does. And then his ghost would be Zalotl, which is I believe it's an Aztec god of fire and lightning, but also guider of souls to the afterlife. And I'm like, well, you pick me up a lot, so you don't guide me to the afterlife, but you keep me from it. And a god of fire and lightning, that's dope. Like Arc and Solar are my 2 favorite subclasses in on my Titan. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So yeah, Chamali and Zalotl. So
all right.
Chizo, if they go by nickname.
Chizo. Chorizo. Question 5. Yeah. Are you playing? Man, I love chorizo. Are you playing any other games, or are any other games on your radar? I think we both kind of touched base on this earlier. I'm playing the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Not gonna lie though, man, that Harry Potter game looks pretty rad. That's coming out, and I haven't told my wife yet, but I'm gonna surprise her. My wife's a big Harry Potter nerd. Like, has like the Scentsy warmers, the backpacks, the purses, like all that BS. So I'm going to gift it to her on Steam because she's kind of been eyeballing it and asked me if I heard about it. So that's kind of what's on my radar. So what about you, buddy?
Not big into Harry Potter, so I haven't even watched any videos on it, but I've been hearing about it a lot from other people. But like I said, working on a Pokemon Scarlet run, figuring out the challenge, whether it's first form birds or bugs, some Mega Man X, because I got that downloaded. I still need to 100% Slime Rancher 2. I'm working my way there. But yeah, I got a couple of games that I'm ready to go and ready to work on. So I'm very excited to have a little bit of Bungie downtime to do that.
Right. All right. I think that's kind of the end of the show. I know we are a little short this week, but without Jared and all of his insight that he gives us, that's kind of to be expected. So make sure you follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. If you're watching us live on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, other podcast services, take us with you. If you're listening to us, don't forget you can watch us on YouTube. This is probably the worst produced version of our YouTube show because typically Jared does that and I handle the audio side, but I'm trying to do everything and I sucked. So this is the Destiny bad boy, and I'm gonna let Chad sign off.
It's been a tough lore. I'm glad that it was very poetic, so it was fun to read. But again, like I said, we'll get back into this lore book once February 14th rolls around, and we're back on the podcast February 16th to talk about the last chapter that's going to get released. I'm assuming it's getting released with the mission once everything is all said and done. Not excited about it. Still very sad, but we'll get through it together.
Go Cats. Love you guys.